We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some interesting new speculation about former WWE World Champion Alberto Del Rio, and more so about the potential for Alberto Del Rio to return to WWE. Now, as many of you are likely aware, Alberto Del Rio is certainly not the most popular superstar in wrestling right now, mainly due to his behavior outside the ring, and while it would seem like the door would be closed to Del Rio returning to WWE, and that Vince McMahon would not want Alberto back in the company for obvious reasons, that may not be the case, and Alberto is more than ready to make a comeback in WWE. For those of you unaware, Alberto Del Rio was recently interviewed about a bunch of things including his career, and among the subjects that were brought up included Alberto Del Rio wanting to return to WWE. And Del Rio stated that if he was given another chance and be allowed to come back, the first thing Del Rio would do is apologize for all of his mistakes, and prove that he has changed for the better and is deserving to be working for WWE once again. The last time Alberto Del Rio was wrestling for WWE was in the fall months of 2016, and ever since then it has not seemed like Vince McMahon was too keen on the idea of Del Rio returning for a number of reasons, with one simply being that Alberto was a big cost for the company despite only being featured as a mid-card level superstar, because for those of you unaware, reports indicate that Del Rio was being paid a salary in the 7-figure range, which is definitely a lot of money, and especially now when the WWE seems to be in the mode of releasing talents for budget-cutting reasons, including some big names like Braun Strowman. And it would be a bit surprising if WWE was to decide to re-sign Alberto Del Rio and spend a lot of money on a superstar that likely would not be featured in the main event title scene, at least not right away. Now it remains to be seen if WWE are going to be open to considering allowing Alberto Del Rio to return to WWE in the future, and let us know if you feel Vince McMahon and WWE should forgive Alberto Del Rio for his past actions and let the former world champion return, or should WWE steer clear of Alberto Del Rio and not re-sign him. We should also definitely note that there are other options for Alberto Del Rio in wrestling, as AEW All Elite Wrestling may be open to talking with Del Rio over a potential contract, but then again, due to Del Rio's past, even AEW would likely be skeptical to work with Alberto Del Rio, and for good reason. On this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the WWE booked a big last chance triple threat match between Drew McIntyre, Riddle, and AJ Styles, which would determine Raw's final spot in the upcoming Men's Money in the Bank ladder match next month at the big Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event. And not surprisingly, the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre picked up the win over Riddle and AJ Styles to get a big spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And while Drew's immediate fans are happy with this booking decision, lots of fans in general are not too pleased with this, as it signals that WWE could be going the predictable route at Money in the Bank. According to a breaking new behind-the-scenes rumor, the fans may be right, because apparently, as of right now, while there had previously been some speculation that Brock Lesnar could have returned as a surprise participant in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and go on to win that briefcase, WWE are now reportedly planning for Drew McIntyre to win the Money in the Bank ladder match this year, with Vince McMahon feeling as though Drew McIntyre is still deserving of being a main event caliber superstar in WWE. And having Drew win the Money in the Bank briefcase will allow for Drew to possibly take a short break from the main event title scene and have a different feud in the mid-card, but then still have that big golden opportunity to move right back into the main event WWE Championship scene at any point, as Drew could cash in whenever he chooses. Although it allegedly would not be right away, because Vince understands that fans are a bit tired of Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre being the never-ending feud for the WWE Championship on Raw. One of our sources has mentioned that Vince feels Drew McIntyre needs something big like winning the Money in the Bank ladder match to boost his momentum after coming out of his feud against Bobby Lashley in a losing effort. And as a result, Drew will likely be walking out of Money in the Bank 2021 with that coveted green briefcase in hand, which McIntyre would likely attempt to cash in at a later date. Although fans can be assured that Drew McIntyre will tease a cash in every so often to keep the WWE champion on full alert. Now again, lots of fans, especially after last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, have made their feelings clear that they feel Drew McIntyre should not win the upcoming Money in the Bank ladder match, and that big achievement should go to a different superstar. And make sure you guys let us know down in the comment section below if you would be happy to see Drew McIntyre win the Money in the Bank briefcase this year to guarantee himself a big chance to become the WWE champion once again. Or do you feel that this massive opportunity should go to one of the other superstars in the Money in the Bank ladder match? While there had been some rumors in the recent past that the tribal chief and head of the table, Roman Reigns, may have seen his former Shield brother Seth Rollins align with him and the Usos on SmackDown to form a truly dominant team, there is some bad news for Roman Reigns when it comes to Seth Rollins, because it appears as though Seth Rollins will be a big challenger for Roman Reigns' Universal Championship in the near future, and Rollins will not be falling in line with the big dog anytime soon. According to a new backstage rumor, there is currently talks behind the scenes in WWE for Seth Rollins to be Roman Reigns' rival for the Universal Championship following SummerSlam 2021. Because as some of you are likely aware, rumors suggest that Seth Rollins will be feuding with Edge for SummerSlam 2021, but after the biggest party of the summer, WWE intend for Seth Rollins to set his sights on winning the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns. And the bad news here for Roman Reigns is that a backstage report has indicated that Seth Rollins could very well be the SmackDown Superstar to put an end to Roman Reigns' lengthy Universal title reign in the fall of 2021. With one report suggesting that Rollins will begin his attempt to take down Roman Reigns and win his Universal Championship in September 2021. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of Seth Rollins possibly being the superstar to end Roman Reigns' Universal title reign following SummerSlam 2021, and would you rather see Seth Rollins align with Roman Reigns, or instead be a big challenger for Roman's championship later this year? While Braun Strowman's release from WWE is not exactly the biggest news anymore, and fans have sort of come to terms on Braun Strowman's sudden firing from WWE, one of the big things in wrestling that lots of fans are still very much discussing is where Braun Strowman will end up following his departure from WWE, and if Braun Strowman plans to continue wrestling to begin with, or if Strowman plans to move his career in a different direction now that he is no longer working for WWE. As expected, with AEW All Elite Wrestling being a haven for mistreated and underutilized released WWE superstars, lots of fans are sure that Braun Strowman's next big move will see the Monster Among Men join up with AEW All Elite Wrestling when its non-compete clause runs up with WWE. However, while quite a few fans feel as though Braun Strowman would excel in AEW, WWE Hall of Famer Booker T does not share many fans' opinions and viewpoint on Strowman. On a recent edition of Booker T's podcast, the WWE Hall of Famer stated that because of Braun Strowman's incredibly large size, there would not be many opponents for Strowman in AEW, which has a roster that lacks superstars in Braun's size range, and that Braun's throwback style of wrestling just doesn't mesh well with the style of wrestling in AEW, which Booker T claims is totally different now. As well, Booker T touched upon the fact that Strowman could be a bit injury prone, so in all, Booker T just does not see Braun Strowman fitting in well in AEW, and give us your thoughts on Booker T not seeing Braun Strowman doing well in AEW, and do you agree or disagree with Booker T's opinion of Braun in AEW?